their 20th anniversary. I went to their little to their big fundraiser.
The fun story about that, of course, is that when we were going to have our wedding there, they were going to have like a banquet hall next door or whatever. They had talked about maybe doing that, and that never actually happened. But I
Oh,
had forgotten to check with them about that, and therefore
never
they
gonna
were
happen
gracious enough to lend us their lobby
in the
for
lobby.
the reception.
Yeah, I remember it well. I have pictures from that night.
I've now forgotten what I was going to say. Well, it's going to lead into something. I was leading into some sort of a.
Improvisers on
Oh yes.
Thursdays.
So what it basically is I am now kind of at the upper end of the class schedule. There's one more class after this one. I'm in 401. The final class is 501 performance. But I don't know exactly how 501 basically at the end of 501 you have your own like show that you do.
Speaking of 501,
But
today's episode is episode 501.
hey, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I was thinking about it because I you actually wrote there's a little something that I think only I get to see, and that's that when Ben sends me the link to join. He always makes a little pun or a little joke or whatever, and I
If
enjoy them
I'm
immensely. I
feeling
don't
up
think I've
for
ever told you.
it.
Yeah,
I think you may have
501
mentioned it once.
Blues,
501 Blues.
Levi's Button Fly,
Oh.
501 Blues commercials that were popular around the time that Ben and I were young people.
I can't remember the last time I had a pair of jeans that had an entire button fly system.
Yeah, right. I liked them. I preferred them. They seemed safer, if you will. Um, all right, so this is the basic thing. It's going to be it's from I think call is at 6 and then it's over at 7:30. It's like and I don't know if here's the thing is I don't know if there's an audience or if it's just us doing stuff. I think there's an audience. I want to say that I think there's a performance aspect to it. But anyway, it's neat because they're going to be bringing in uh like improvisers from around Chicago to participate as like special guests and stuff like that. And so, but here's the thing, right? Um, it doesn't cost as much as a class, right? They may be charging people to like audience members to watch it.
Right.
I think that's what it is. It sounds like it's a show. And this is the age-old problem, right? That and it's not a problem for me, and we'll get to that in just a second, but a problem that Annex already always came up against where there would be some actors who are like, "Hey, we should be paid a living wage to be in
Right.
this show." And to which Annex would always reply, "Hey, we're losing money
Yeah.
on every show we're doing." And so there was a paid employee. I don't know, is there still like are there still paid employees? There was at
No.
one point in time. Yeah.
Annex Annex at one point had a paid employee. Like when I first started back in '99, Bruce Hall was the Annex administrator.
Yeah, and the administrator does all the stuff that nobody else wants to do
Yeah.
and therefore gets paid for it. And that was nice. But yeah, people would get stipends. Um, and instead, for the thing that I'm doing, it's not as much as a class would be, right? Classes cost like, a couple $100, whatever.
Right.
This is like, you know, less than that.
The
But
stipend
it's
that you would
still
be receiving instead of how much
no,
you would
no,
have
no,
to
no,
pay.
no. This is the thing, right? In Annex, I would be receiving a stipend.
Yeah.
Here, I'm paying
Okay.
because it's kind of a class.
Gotcha.
This is the thing that I wanted to talk to you about. Um, if I were an agent, if I were a talent agent, right, and my client came to me and said, hey, I've got this deal where I get to perform at this theater, and it's only costing me $75. I'd be like, what are you doing?
Right.
You're right. But me, Paul, you, Ben. Anyway, let's go. No, but me, Paul, I'm like, look, you know, the fact that there's a theater that is doing improv and I get to do improv at it and
This
people are
is
going to come and see
now
it.
this is the same place where you have been taking classes. This is
Hmm.
just like the 501 series, right?
No, no, and this is the point. 501 is still a class, right?
Yeah.
I don't know
Okay.
if it's happening this month or not. This other thing is like a salon,
But it's at the
a
same school,
it's at
the
the
same
same school.
theater?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's at the same school. This is the thing that I'm saying is I've never seen anything like it before. It's a new model. I guess that's what I'm getting at. At the UCB, right?
Yeah.
You take classes. And as somebody who takes classes, you can go see all the shows for free, but you're seeing the shows for free and the other people who are seeing the shows that aren't students pay. And so the theater gets income from the students who come in and
Yeah.
pay, and they get income from the audience who they get show money from the audience, right? From sales and bar, and they get tuition from the students. That's what this setup is like. Only I don't know if the performers are considered students in those situations. That's
Okay.
sort of the new thing, right? I feel like, and I don't know for sure, but I feel like people who are attached to schools who perform on Herald Nights, I don't think they pay to perform, but I do think that they probably perform for free. I don't think they get paid,
No.
but I don't know. Maybe they do.
I have
All
no
that I'm
idea.
saying is, it is a weird setup, but it's one that I am perfectly okay with because as I look at it, it's an extension of the classroom setting,
Yeah.
right? I'm not I'm not renting out their theater, right?
Right.
I'm not doing any of my publicity or anything like that. I'm still, you know, there at
Yeah,
their place. So
it's part of the training. Though even maybe
exactly.
not like technically, but it is, you can consider it part of the training.
Yeah.
I think,
Like I said, never heard it before, but
yeah.
here's the thing. You remember how we were talking about Amazon and how the price for their commercial free version of Amazon Prime was like $3
Yeah.
a month or something like that. And I
More.
said they picked the exact amount that wouldn't make me cancel the thing. In the same way, the school has picked the amount that I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense
I
to
mean,
pay for this experience.
there's yeah, you're right. Because it is like a training ground and not a quote a professional theater.
Yeah.
The I guess the community is not going to be barking online about how they're making people pay to perform. But like just last night, I went to this karaoke night with a friend of mine, and she lived in New York for a time, and said that on most karaoke nights in New York, you have to pay to put your name in to sing a song. You're
Hmm.
basically paying to play.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody in Seattle does that. I think that's sort of like, we are a very like money phobic West Coast mentality of like you put money into things and it starts
Well, like
problems.
like people are now professional dungeon masters where they actually get hired by a group of players to DM something.
Yeah.
And that to me is weird, right? But it's no weirder than a professional DJ, right? Same sort of thing. Um, you know, uh, talking to somebody in the 1950s, right? They probably had the same thing where a guy would show up with. I mean, DJs have been around for a while, right? But if I'm throwing a party,
Since records have been a thing, I guess.
right? In the 80s or 90s, as a kid, we don't hire someone to come and put the records on. We have our boombox and we play the boombox. And
Yeah.
the same thing. If I play D&D as a kid, anyway, my friend DMs and all that kind of stuff. When you pay somebody to come in to DJ, or you pay someone to come in to, like, weddings, obviously,
Yeah.
the paid DJ is a big thing. When you pay a DM to come in, there's an expectation of better service, better
Right.
quality, etc. So I get it, but I wonder if it's just that in New York there's so many people that you have to make them pay, or else nobody would ever get any
Yeah.
songs in.
I mean, that's
Uh,
probably true. I was like this place I went to is called the Rabbit Box Theater, and there was probably 15 people there.
mhm.
Not a lot of people, and still, it was like you would wait 20, 30 minutes between songs. And
Yeah,
so I can't imagine being like in a full bar or whatever, and waiting like 2, 3 hours between songs because nobody's
yeah,
doing Iron Butterfly, but that's 3 to 5 minutes per person up there. That adds up.
exactly.
My friend I
Yeah,
was
and
with
it keeps.
is actually Yolanda. Her sister Susie, you actually know from Midnight Burger, the podcast.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this, I think.
Yeah.
And I haven't, I haven't, I fell off of it because I was listening to other stuff for a while. But yeah, Midnight Burger is so great. It's a very comfortable. There's like a game called Mutazone that I played. And it reminds me a lot of that, where it's just people and their messy lives, kind of.
Yeah.
And that's a good show. Do you remember the show Metrosexual at all?
I remember the
We
phrase.
watched
I don't
it.
remember the show by
We
that
watched it
name.
over at Mr. House.
We did.
There was like a marathon of it. Yeah, and it was good. Again, it was just one of those things where it was people in their lives, and that was basically it. But yeah, it's I can't really think of what you call it. It's drama sort of, but it's also it's like it's like everyday life drama kind of. I don't know how. This is probably
Slice
something
of
very
life
simple, like
drama.
just humans being friends. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's friends, but there's already a show called Friends, so you can't really oh no.
What?
I've gotta do that for. There's this thing from this thing that Benny and I do. And it's like the combination of both of those things.
And the Friends
Um,
theme.
yeah, I think that she'll hate it. Um, but anyway, so that's going to be happening on Thursdays. So how are you on Wednesdays? Are Wednesdays pretty much okay?
Yeah, Wednesday. Like, is this only in November?
Yeah, it's only going to be well, and then we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
But yeah,
not doing it on Thursdays in November is probably okay or pretty good anyway because like we'd have to Thanksgiving is on a Thursday,
oh yeah, so yeah,
so
just shift it over to Wednesdays.
shift over to Wednesdays.
Yeah. Um.
Programming note for all
Oh,
of you tuning into the live stream: we'll now be recording on Wednesdays,
in November, but
almost
Thursdays until
a
then.
full week before the episode drops.
Yeah, look at us.
Staying topical.
And oh, hey, speaking of staying topical,
Oh God.
hey Ben,
Hey,
uh,
I'm
it
sick
puts
of
the
those
lotion on
fat
its skin, or else
generals.
it gets the I'm sorry.
What were
So
you saying?
yeah, yeah. So it might interest the people in on the who listen to the podcast to know. I don't know if you know this or not, but I was in fact in the United States military. I was a member of the U.S. Air
I
Force.
believe we've discussed that.
But yeah, so we had this program. I can tell this. I don't think this is any. We had this program that was nicknamed the Dancing Bears program, and what it was anyone who was overweight, who didn't pass their physical, was put on aerobic exercise, and they would basically meet in like a field and like do little jumping jacks and things like that, in an attempt to get them healthier.
Yeah.
And again, this is one of those things that you know. So Hegseth says, we can't have. I don't want to see any fat John rules, etc. Um, but I mean, this is during the Clinton administration, and that was already a thing that this isn't new. That if you're over a certain weight, that you need to get put on
It
aerobics.
wasn't just the overweight thing though. I mean, like,
Oh yeah,
it
yeah.
just
I mean, it was a laundry
hilarious
list of.
because the president is obese. However, he's like, everybody's gonna conform, right? No individuality. So
Yeah.
no facial hair. Everybody has the same short haircuts. I didn't watch the speech, but I got the sense that he
Oh,
wanted to
you're
turn our military generals into something like North Korea.
well. This is the thing: is that we talked about this when there was the parade on Trump's birthday,
Yeah.
and they didn't really do marching,
No.
right? They walked and were like, "Hey, how's it going?" And that's not what
Frustrating
they
the
wanted. They
president.
wanted, yeah, they wanted a real, spit and polish, straight lines and all that,
So
which the U.S. military can do, right? That was, I don't know, I wouldn't say it was necessarily a protest, but it was a, hey, we're not North Korea, we're not going to
right.
do that thing. So, that's part of the prompting of it, of course, and the shaving thing we talked about already. That
Yeah.
we're talking about something that affects uh, a demographic of the military that they might be trying to move out. There was another thing about how standards for physical fitness needed to be gender neutral. After that, a lot of women who are in the military stated, "Hey, guess what? They already are. Um, these standards that you're talking about. Um, there isn't a women's uh, physical fitness, men's physical fitness for a fighter pilot. There's
Right.
one level that you have to be at, that sort of thing. So a lot of the criticism I've seen that came out of the military and retired military and such is one of those things. If you've got them all here, there are lots of other things that they could be talking about.
Yeah.
Readiness, what our goals are, all that kind of stuff. And if in general, if you have an issue with someone in the military, you don't dress them down in front of everybody else. You take them aside and you talk to them, that kind of thing. At least that's how I was treated, and I think that's how most people were treated.
Well,
In
and
basic training,
that's just being courteous.
yeah, in basic training, there were situations where, like when I was in basic training, there was a thing called the snake pit, and the snake pit was where all the they're called technical instructors, TIs, as
Hmm.
opposed to drill instructors. When you're in the Air Force, they're TIs. I assume it's probably the same. Where if you walk by it, right, and someone says, "Hey, you're not supposed to turn around," because they'll find something no matter what, right? All of them are in one spot, and they kind of, um, you know, like, "Where's your hat?" They get you all flustered and
Yeah.
like mess with you up a little bit. Um, and there was a a practice that people were discussing that sounds a little bit like the same thing, except sort of mobile, called a shark attack, where apparently a lot of people surround someone and just yell at them and that sort of thing, that they apparently is illegal now,
The
that they
military
now want
sounds
to bring
so
back.
fun.
Well, this is the thing, is that this is what the, I mean, on a larger scale, right? This is what that speech uh, sort of brought up in me, was the idea that if we remain an all volunteer military, what they're doing right now are things that will hinder recruitment
Right.
and also make retention of people who have already been recruited uh, go down. So, again, it's one of those things where you look at this. If I were a foreign military and I looked at that, I wouldn't be scared that that the U.S. military was going to be changing their grooming habits or whatever. I would be looking at um, you know, and I hate to, say anything mm, that would be construed as negative, but I would be thinking to myself, there are a lot of US military members who are going to be leaving.
Yeah.
And what does that do for me? That sort of thing.
I just wonder how many of those, upper echelon generals are kind of like glancing at each other, through the corners of their eyes and wondering like if they, if it's time to do something. I'm
Ha-
not saying there should be a military takeover of the government, but like how many generals were looking at each other going, it's time to like take, deal with
I think
this
the
problem.
I think the highest level of um I want to say the highest level of rank that I was in the same room with, was a full bird colonel, they call them. Uh, and any high-ranking military officer, you've seen it before because actors have the same thing, where they like really really good actors, when they walk into the room and you're just like, oh,
Yeah, they command a
this
room.
person's here. Yeah, exactly. Not by doing anything either,
No,
just their mere presence can. So imagine a room of 800 people all kind of like that,
right.
and all that. They're still human beings, right? But I mean, the thing that I think they're doing in that situation when they're hearing all this is they're going down a mental Rolodex of, okay, well, I've been given, because, you know, following lawful orders is a big thing, right? So I've been
Right.
given these lawful orders and I can do this stuff. And they'll do what they can to follow, those guidelines. But there are some things, like using U.S. cities as
As
training
training
grounds,
grounds for
that
war.
they cannot do and would not do.
Yeah.
And I would expect that they would simply ignore the things that they cannot and will not do. This is one of the things that I will say, having been in the military, um, that people who have been civilians may not understand about it. It is, I mean, the United States of America is a country, right? Being in the military is like being on a different layer of the country. So there is the President of the United States, right? And the President of the United States is the Commander in Chief. But on your day-to-day basis, right, you've got a person above you
Right.
and then a person above them, et cetera, et cetera. So the whole I was just following orders things for an unlawful order, that is something that I'm thinking about, because it's incumbent on the people in that room to say, well, I'm not going to pass these orders down to my people on the ground, right? That's if it's something like, you know, get live ammo and go onto the streets of Portland and shoot people or whatever.
Well, the president did say that he's willing to fire any general he doesn't like.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, it has happened already. There have been military people who have been dismissed. They said that they were going to try to get rid of 20% of the officers, something like that. Also, saying in a room of people who had worked to get where they've got, that many people who are in the positions right now are, not there by merit is, I don't know.
It's a
They're
bold
not they're
move,
not
Cotton.
making they're not making many friends. That's all I'm saying.
No,
I
I think, and not just not making many friends, but losing maybe what little respect they may have had just due to their position. The president walking
yeah,
out and like complaining that nobody applauded for him. Right? You think the generals
yeah.
uh, are like feeling bad about that? I probably not.
Like I said, these are, I don't know, these are intense people.
I saw the picture. Like I think Getty posted a photo of
Yeah.
the generals, and it's like that's a room you don't want to piss off.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is something, right? The again, I'll say the same thing. This could have been an email.
Yeah,
Uh, like thought must have flashed into one of their heads while they were speaking, at least once. I have to
probably
think.
more than one too. I mean,
Oh, hey, we should talk about something.
what you got in that Ziploc bag, Paul Goody?
These, Ben, are
Something illicit?
blueberry pie Oreos. So I'm gonna do this for the camera.
For those
So this
listening at
is
home, Paul is showing the
so
Oreo.
it's as you can see, it's kind of the vanilla
Yeah,
Oreo
vanilla
type
cookie
cookie.
part and blueberry cream filling.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, this one got the whole bag got a little smashed. So I can't do the twist off. I have to do the sort of pinch off. So it's not going to be smooth. I might have to eat another one.
I don't. I don't actually have much food in my apartment. Look, it's all blue.
So there's the blue on the inside.
I do need to go grocery shopping, but I'm probably not going to do that today. I don't know what I'm going to have for dinner tonight. That's going to be a game time decision. I may I should not eat out because it's really expensive to eat
Hmm.
out. I did go down to the bagel shop that's a few blocks away from my apartment to get a lunch bagel. And with tip and everything, it's you're walking out of there dropping $15-$16 for a bagel sandwich.
So Jennifer and I do something where we go to a place called America's Kitchen and Catering. I think I might have mentioned this. It's run by my neighbor,
Oh yeah.
and they have the so it got back up. And normally we go on Taco Tuesday where there are tacos. I still have two tacos left from Taco Tuesday. I'm probably gonna have those for dinner.
How do they
What I
keep?
do is I cut them up. Oh, they're great. I cut them up with the scissors and put them in the air fryer because that's how I like to reheat them.
Yeah.
Um, because it cooks it more evenly and stuff like that. But they're great when they're right for the thing. But here's the note. We went on a night when they had lamb chops, and it was lamb chops and mac and cheese and green beans, and all of it was amazing. I'm not like I'm not as anti mac and cheese as Jennifer is.
Does she not
I
like
like
mac
mac
and
and cheese,
cheese?
all right, but this is amazing. So much so that he gave us another mac and cheese when
It's
we were
immaculate
leaving
mac and cheese.
on Taco Tuesday, and Jennifer had it, and she handed it to me, and I like took the lid off and was gonna have a fork full of it, and she was like, "Mmm, what are you doing? My mac and cheese." And so
I
that didn't
not
that didn't happen.
a big fan of the mac and cheese myself. I don't know if I've ever made it for dinner for myself. I don't believe I ever have as an adult.
Yeah. So sorry, I was looking at the food again. I'm hungry already. There were shrimp tacos I had and
Tacos.
buffalo chicken egg rolls, which were also amazing.
This is all from
Anyway,
America's Kitchen.
yeah, America's Kitchen and Catering. So yeah, very good stuff. So the big thing besides that speech that I was thinking about um,
Another
was
news item.
no, not another news item, just a general sense of like I feel like when I say we, I mean you and I, right? Are just by chance or by who we are, we've gravitated to um, places that are united in a common uh, distaste for and distrust of what is happening in most of the country right now.
Yeah.
And you think about, for I don't think we talked about this. Did we talk about Jimmy Kimmel getting off the air and then getting back on the air?
We may have mentioned it.
So
I don't
Jimmy
know if we've
Kimmel
talked about it at length.
is a talk show host. Right now, it is 2025,
October 2nd, my nephew's
October 2nd.
birthday.
Hey, happy birthday to your nephew, Ben.
I think he's
Uh,
23? How can that be
mm,
possible?
there's a long tradition at this point of talk show hosts, which are men and some women, but mostly men,
Generally.
who sit behind a desk and interview people. And they have a monologue in the beginning, and then they sit down at this. It's a very standard format
Yeah.
that
A tried and
most
true
people
format that's been
don't deviate
around
from.
for
Yeah.
more than 50 years.
So Jimmy Kimmel is one of these talk show hosts, and uh, previously there was another talk show host whose name is I'm trying to think Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
Stephen Colbert, who has been a critic of the president and his administration, was told that he was not getting renewed
Correct.
when his show goes off the air.
So his show has been canceled. He still has about
Yeah,
like a year left, but his show was not renewed to return.
he is on a lame duck TV show, and Jimmy Kimmel, similarly, uh, well, sort of similarly, but more immediately, uh, got under fire for um, saying things or not saying things, however you want to look at it,
Well,
that
I
were
mean,
complimentary to the
if
administration.
if you yeah, I mean, if you listen to the official talking points of why he was taken off the air, specifically what they cited was him calling at the time, maybe falsely, that the person who shot Charlie Kirk was part of the MAGA movement.
Yeah, and it's still interesting. I mean, you and I, you know, don't really know enough to debate it, probably, but it's one of those things where we know. horseshoe theory, whatever. He was
I
an
mean,
edgelord in
you
some ways.
like you
Like,
can like our all MAGA are conservatives, but not all conservatives are MAGA kind of thing, right? You know,
right.
it's
And this
this
is the thing is
very
that
radical subset of Republicans.
he was a young person from a conservative family.
Right.
And we know that, so like for instance, all the way up until eighth grade, right? I would have been considered a right-wing person because of my family, and my
Your
politics didn't
love
really
for Rush
deviate from
Limbaugh.
theirs. Well, no, Rush Limbaugh was later. In fact, did I ever tell you about this? Um, I might have told you this before, but um, so I had a cousin, and when my cousin and I met, like my brother Dan had kind of talked him up because we Dan and I both like superheroes and
Yeah.
Star Wars and stuff, and he was like, "Oh, you know, he likes superheroes and Star Wars too." So I was like, "Cool, let's talk about it." And when I met him, he was like, "Oh, I'm not really into that anymore. I'm more into the Bible now, like that sort of thing." So I was
the
like, "Okay."
the original superhero.
But I was also into the Bible at that time, so we got along on that,
Talking Bible.
like talking Bible stuff and all that. And then we went away again. And then when we got back, um, sorry, I'm laughing because I already know the punchline, and so and so does everyone else. I'm not that great at telling jokes or stories in this kind of way, but so I say to him, he comes, my nephew. We haven't talked. I'm not nephew, sorry, my cousin. We haven't talked a lot in a while, and I say, what have you been up to? And he said, well, I've been listening to Rush a lot. And I was like, oh, wow,
I
that's
love
crazy.
Rush.
I said, I thought you would be a little too young to, enjoy. And he was like, oh, well, no, I think he makes some really good points. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
the floor kind of
gotcha.
fell out from under me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, well, this will be a fun time. Um, but the way all this plays out, um, Ben, I lost myself again. What were we talking? Why did I get onto that? So the person who did the shooting, right?
Yeah.
This is one of the issues I think we get into sometimes when one of these shootings happen, which is um, when the shooting happens, everybody's like, okay, well, which circle of America does this guy belong in?
Right.
Forgetting that there's a much smaller circle, which are people that shoot people in public, and that's the circle that they're in, and the rest of it, what this guy, says he
It's
believes, what he says he believes doesn't matter as much as the fact that he shoots people in public.
no, but nuance has no place in American discourse anymore.
Yeah,
It's is he part of us or part of them?
exactly. And the thing is that, it's complicated. This is the thing. Because when I say it's complicated, I mean it like this. If you go with the standard news, which is what I've read, most of, it tells a very simple thing of this guy didn't like Charlie Kirk and what he had to say, and so
Because
he
Charlie
shot
wasn't
them.
MAGA enough.
No, because this person wasn't MAGA and actually
No, that's why.
was left leaning, and that's the story that they're telling. At least
Oh,
they might be
is it?
telling a different story now. Yeah,
I mean, again, you
but
you read things online, you never know how true it is.
and what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is this is what the uh the major, like CNN, things like that, the major news media, that's what they're reporting. That's what the story is. that this was a person who was radicalized because of a now this is the crazy thing of a roommate, even though maybe he lived with his parents, uh, who was, and this is what they stated, who was biologically male,
Oh, so he
but
was radicalized by
transitioning.
a trans person?
This is what the news article that I read in the major papers are, which to me is a little crazy because all the memes that were posted were, very online. But who knows? Who knows? I don't know.
I mean,
But the
that's interesting because that's exactly what Charlie and some
oh,
student was talking about at the moment.
they were talking about, well, at the moment they
The
were talking
student was
about
like, "Do you know how many
gun
trans people
violence.
are responsible for mass
Oh
shootings?"
no,
And
no, they just said no. What they said, because I remember I watched it like 15 times. Just said how many shootings there were. Do you know how many shootings there were over? And Charlie Kirk said gang related or, and then he got shot.
mm.
Or and then the other person said something else like oh well or oh yeah or whatever. But his last words were gang related or something to that effect. Um,
So
which is
a
interesting.
dog
So
whistle of racism.
yeah. Um, but this, and this is the thing that they're talking about right now. The fact that when you, I'm sorry, the laughter that you're hearing from me, Ben, is me thinking about how ludicrous what I'm about to say sounds.
Okay.
But when you get to the far right side of things, he was, if this makes sense, the the sort of gentler far right, willing to listen to someone and then tell them to their face that he doesn't believe in their lifestyle, but likes the fact that they're a conservative, doesn't raise his voice, talks, that kind of thing. And what people are
So
saying
the
now
shooter
is
was a soft
that
spoken empath.
the, well, no, the shooter, uh, according to the news, the shooter wrote that he shot him because he spread too much hate, right?
Mm.
Now, if we believe the story, the roommate found a confession written under the keyboard of the computer. That's number one, which is interesting. And number two is, um, if you believe it, he kept in text messages, which were in the article. He kept referring to his dad as my old man. I don't know how my old man is going to feel if I don't bring Gramps' rifle back. Old man and Gramps.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds.
And
They were in Utah. This. So that sounds sort of typical for you know language
some
people
people are saying it
talk about.
sounds way too much hello fellow kids. Like they don't
Oh,
believe that it could be.
that it was that these text messages were written by somebody other than the shooter.
Now, of course, like I said, if you go with the official news, that no one is claiming that, but it is, I don't know. As you can imagine, I have a pipeline to people who watch Twitter and have different ideas, and that was one of the things that got thrown out, was that if you look at the the text messages had dot 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 in them a lot,
Yeah.
and he was in his 20s. The idea that he would do write dot 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 in a text message to someone, that's a very much more a Gen X thing. Millennials and Gen Z kids don't do it as much. That kind of stuff.
Writing out ellipses.
Yeah, writing out ellipses isn't a thing
Okay,
for
that's news to
younger
me.
for people his age. Hey, listen, I'm just reporting what I heard. But anyway, murder is bad and you shouldn't do it, everybody.
Yeah,
Um,
if we've learned nothing else from this society.
yes. It is interesting what the world would be if murder would be considered okay.
Like if we
I
had a
mean, in
purge day.
yeah, like oh right, yeah, I guess that already has been explored, hasn't it? Hey, no, I mean that was the thing is after that, and I know that I'm not saying that the heat is gone, but this is around the time period that people normally forget about shootings in general. So who knows? Maybe people, still care,
What, the fall
and will
is when people normally
no,
forget about
no,
shootings?
no, like a couple week or two after it happens
Ah,
these days is what I'm saying.
well, I mean, there's been
Um,
that's not the only high, that's not the only shooting that's happened. Like there's
no,
one every day. It feels like
but it did have a lot more people who
it was
seemed
the
to
most high
care than,
profile one for sure.
yeah, exactly. So,
Like there on
I what I'm saying is I don't want to, make it seem as though I'm not giving everything its due consideration and everything like that. Um, I'm just saying that we didn't talk about it right when it happened, and we are talking about it a little bit more than, I probably had planned. But it's one of those things where, you know, there were there were there was a very large stadium full of people, all of whom, talked about stuff. And there were people shortly afterwards who were in their cars saying, Mr. President, give us the word because we're ready, you know, asking to be unleashed upon the and this is my point, I guess, unleashed upon the left, just tell us that it's okay, that sort of thing. And that was around the same time that Jimmy Kimmel was told that he, didn't he had a responsibility basically to be different than the other people who were doing pretty similar stuff. That's all I'm saying. But Disney blinked. He got back on.
Disney still lost a ton of subscribers
Yeah,
to their streaming service.
there is a shareholders thing about it as
Yeah,
well.
and
So it'll be, I don't know.
the syndicators who originally forced ABC in Disney's hands
Was that
have both
Sinclair?
Sinclair and Nextstar. Next something is the other one.
Is it
Uh,
Nextel? Nextel is a thing, but
that's a phone company. They both
okay.
have put Kimmel back on their stations.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing, and I'm sure that you might uh, have the same issue, and I feel bad about it, but it's oftentimes when I hear that a television show that I, always meant to watch had been canceled, I would be like, oh, well, I guess I might be part of the problem because they didn't get picked up without getting viewers, and I
Right.
I meant to watch it, I never did. Um, I don't really watch network television, so I don't really watch Kimmel or Colbert, and also the fact that they aren't like if Craig Ferguson had been kicked off, I would have been like I actually would tune into to that show.
But that's also like Craig Ferguson had a late night TV show when I actually had like cable,
That's
so
right.
I
Yeah,
would
that's
I
that's kind
would
of my
tune in.
point.
I
Yeah.
don't have that anymore, so the only way that I consume any of these late night shows is when they post the clips to YouTube the next day.
Exactly. So that, and I think that was part of it. The him being off the air didn't really mean anything except that no new content was being.
Right.
Is it Josh Johnson? Is that?
Yeah,
I'm
the
thinking of
Daily
the
Show correspondent.
Daily Show correspondent. I am impressed at how often, like, I don't know if you follow him on YouTube or anything, just how often he has new material.
Yeah, he's got like
He's
it feels like he's got a new hour every week.
Yeah, he's very prolific, and it's good too. It's something that I want to watch.
I haven't consumed a
That's
lot of
kind
it,
of
but I
neat.
did watch his time actually hosting the Daily Show, and it was amazing. He did a great job.
Oh, I should check it out,
Yeah.
probably. So I don't know. Yeah, the main thing is this. I feel like, you and I, never solve anything, right? We do comment on it, but we're not in a position to. I don't know. If I were put in a position where I could affect things on a national level, uh, I don't know if how I'd feel about that. I wouldn't feel great, probably. Things are messed up, man.
No,
How do you?
I definitely don't want to be responsible for solving society's problems or making big decisions for large groups of people. Because ultimately somebody's not going to like a decision, or a decision is not going to treat somebody as fairly as somebody else, and I'd feel bad about that.
My favorite type of conservative person is the one who says, "I don't care what you do in the bedroom," and means it, right? They really don't care. I like, the grouchy bear who lives in his house and, like, doesn't hurt anybody. But, then there's that thing. Does he in fact hurt people with the way that he votes? And I think that's something that I feel like is maybe going to change at some point. You remember the next I think I was talking about Nextel. I think this is the group. It may not be, but if firefighters ran the country, I think that's Nextel. And if it's not, it's some other phone company. They
Like an
had
ad
this
campaign?
they had this ad campaign if firefighters ran the country, and it was all like, you know, hey, do we want healthcare? Yes. Okay. And they just went back and forth
Yeah.
and covered, all these topics, and the idea was that they did it fast and they were efficient and everything like that. I feel like we don't have it, right? What we have right now with this administration is an administration that does care about being uh, among the elite in a very real way, right? I feel like a shift that could happen to the Republican Party that would perhaps be beneficial to the United States if they could swing it would be a move to them being a blue collar conservative movement,
Well, I
like the
mean,
Labor Party in Great Britain,
they
kind of.
they claim that every election cycle,
I'm telling
and
you,
people buy it.
if if the Republican Party, all I and look, I hate it when I give them ideas because I do it a lot on the podcast. If the if the
It's
Republican
okay.
Party,
I don't think they're listening.
if the Republican Party for real stopped being racist, if they could do it, they'd win.
I dare
They'd
you. For
win.
1 hour, don't be racist.
Don't be racist for 1 hour. And here's the thing: listen close. If you're listening, conservative people, I'm not saying that the Democratic Party isn't racist. They're in America. Everybody's racist.
Hmm.
It's just, unfortunately, baked into the culture. It can go away, and I just think that if the conservative party were able to do that, it would be amazing to see. Um, I kind of think of it like, um, like what if the Dropkick Murphys and Fishbone ran the government? What would that what would that look like? You know?
Uh, I don't know what it would
Uh,
look like, but it feels like it would be awesome.
and we'll find out next week.
Hey,
Um,
Soul Coughing's playing Chicago coming up. You should go.
oh, when is it? When is it going to be?
Let me look. I'm on their mailing list, and I saw. Oh, so I use this email program called Spark, and sometimes when I
Uh-huh.
do a search in my emails, it crashes the program, which doesn't feel great. No,
Okay,
don't
let's see.
send.
Soul Coughing Chicago. I think this will be we're going to extend a little bit beyond time perhaps to find out Soul Coughing Chicago.
We'd like to warn our affiliates down the line that we'll be going long.
Oh, obviously, Ben, you can guess what the problem of looking up Soul Coughing
Oh
Chicago
shit!
might do. Let's see.
Soul Coughing Band.
The Byline Bank Ballroom, December 12th.
Tickets on sale now. Yeah, they when I first got the notification that they were back on tour, the Chicago venue had not been booked. But it looks like it's just a midwestern tour. So,
Hmm.
powered by Seated.
Pre-sale happening. So it doesn't look like they're being sold yet,
Um yeah, looks like they go on
or
sale tomorrow.
huh?
December
Well,
12th.
Ben, well, Ben, I'll tell you this. If you buy two tickets, I will go and I will reimburse you. The reason I'm saying this, Ben, is because I will forget.
Q101. Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it out to Chicago, and Chicago in December sounds kind of sketchy. Like I
Yeah,
flying
here's the
in
thing.
to O'Hare in December does not sound fun.
This is what I'm saying, Ben. I don't want to go by myself. I would not go by myself. I would not leave my house for almost everything. But if you were to buy and come to Chicago, I would go.
You'll go.
And that's the only way it would happen.
All right. I'm glad to have a friend in Chicago who will brave the wilds of the outside of the out of
I
doors.
absolutely would. And Ben, with that note,
I bid
it's
you
once
a good
again,
podcast.
yes, a good. Uh, keep it wrong. How's it happening? And that third thing, if you listen, if you are listening and you want to go through all of the GudeLaurance podcast and find out what the missing phrase is, because I think if you say it, Ben and I will remember and be like, "Oh, right."
Possibly.
Find the missing phrase. We will be forever in your debt, and we
Well,
will mention your name every single time that we say the forgotten catchphrase. So keep that in mind.
and with
It's
that,
it's some it's somehow connected to how's it happening.
how's it
I
happening? It's
don't
a
I don't remember what it is, but if you can find it,
just an
we will do it.
accidental turn of phrase. All right. And with that, keep it wrong. How's
Yes,
it
keep it
happening?
wrong. How's it happening?
Talk to you next week.